Hi, folks. Chris Voss here from the ChrisVossShow.com, the ChrisVossShow.com. Hey, we're coming here with another great podcast. We certainly appreciate you guys tuning in. Be sure to subscribe to the show at youtube.com/Chris Voss. Hit that bell notification button. Go to goodreads.com/Chris Voss. See all the places we're reading and reviewing and all the books that we're doing, etc., etc. On top of that, you can go to all the groups, Facebook, LinkedIn, etc., etc. So today we have an amazing gentleman. He's going to be on the show with us today. His name is Emanuel, and I'm going to let him do his last name here when we introduce him so that he can tell us how it is. And we're going to be talking to him about his company, what he is, and what he does. He is the leading expert on conquering fears, author, speaker, and award-winning entertainer. He's helped thousands of mental abuse survivors to crush their imposter syndrome and create a dream life without having their previous toxic relationships get in the way. Welcome to the show, Emanuel. How are you doing?
I'm great. Thank you so much for having me.
Good. And if you don't mind, I'll let you deliver the spelling of the pronunciation of your last name, if you would.
Yeah, Svechinsky.
Shavinsky?
No, Svechinsky. It's one of those hard last names to pronounce.
Mm-hmm.
And when people ask me where you're from, I said Latvia. So that's even worse because people don't generally know where Latvia is. So they mix it up with Latveria from the Marvel universe, but I assure you it's not.
There you go. So give us your plugs for your company and where to find you.
Yeah, absolutely. Instagram.com/TheF Principle. TheFPrinCiple.
Okay. And tell us more about who you are, what you do, and what got you into the business that you're in.
Well, it started when I was 15 years old. I just won a chess championship in school. And my dad taught me how to play chess. So I was super excited. I ran home. And I got home, and my dad was not there. I was like, okay, I guess I'll tell him later, another day, or the next day. It was Saturday. And Saturday comes, I wake up, I'm super excited. I go down the stairs, I'm like, Dad, I want chat. And then I realized he's not here. He wasn't home. I was just confused. And then my mom calls. She's like, Emanuel, come with your brother and your grandma to the hospital right now.
Oh, no.
And I'm like, okay, cool. I understood my dad was sick. At that time, I did not know it was cancer.
Oh, no.
So at that time, I would come in and I'm excited. I'm like, all right. I'm going up in the hospital telling my dad that I just won the chess championship in school. And then all of a sudden I see my mom standing there. She's standing there right there, tearing with her eyes. And that's when I realized I'm not going to tell my dad about the school championship.
Oh, no.
In fact, I don't think he was going to come home. That's when I realized that life is super, super short.
Mm-hmm.
And that's when all this negativity started hitting me. I got into the entertainment industry and I realized so many different things. But the most important thing I realized was that most people are unhappy. And at that moment, I realized that most people live their life based on fear. I grew up watching my mom work. I mean, we came from Latvia, right? So when we immigrated to Canada, she was working nonstop. She learned English. Then she started working. My dad was working 2 jobs. And it was a tough life.
Mm-hmm.
It was super tough. And I realized, well, my dad just pretty much worked and passed away.
Oh, wow.
That's exactly what I do not want in my life. And I made it my mission to make sure that people are able to conquer their fears so that they don't have to live based on the reactions of whatever they fear.
Mm-hmm.
And,
So you help coach people and stuff with this?
Yes, absolutely. I have a course, an online course, the 4 Keys to Conquering Fears Blueprint. It's personal experience. You don't get this in school, right? You don't learn that stuff in school, right?
Mm-hmm.
You don't get your teacher say, Chris, today you're going to learn how to conquer fear. No, you're taught how to overcome fear.
Mm-hmm.
And that's the problem. I've been overcoming fears for most of my life, and I didn't know I was poisoning my life in the process, because that's what happens. And I'll get into that. It's just, I've realized that fear is created because people think, okay, fear. The first thing people think of is face everything and rise. Or what's the other one? face everything and rise, or false evidence appearing real, or some other acronym that they gave.
Mm-hmm.
That's not the definition of fear.
Mm-hmm.
And so many people are confused, and it's killing them from inside out.
Mm-hmm.
Fear is an emotion caused by the belief that something bad or negative is about to happen to you.
Mm. Yeah,
Right?
it's people live their life either by pleasure, or for pleasure, or by fear, but most live by fear. My
Yeah.
understanding. Yeah.
Yeah, and people react out of fear. Oh no, I don't have money. What do I need to do? Do something I don't like for the rest of my life so that I can get some money, but at least I have some money, right? It's one of those mechanisms that just to protect yourself, but it gets a lot worse, and that's what people don't realize. When you overcome fear, it's like you're scraping off the tip of the iceberg. The iceberg is still there, right?
Mm-hmm.
So what are you doing? You're not doing anything to it. The fear, what happens is when you scrape off the tip of the iceberg's still there. Same with fear. Fear is stuck in the back of your mind because you created it. You had this belief system, and that belief created an emotion.
Mm-hmm.
So whenever you overcome stuff, just not fear, is problems in general, they will return.
Mm-hmm.
And when they do, it's going to be worse. And people don't realize that until it's too late. That's what bugs me.
Yeah, they get to the end of their life and realize that they were driven by fear most of their life, right?
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. And so you host seminars, workshops, boot camps, and mentorship programs to guide people to gain courage, conquer your fear. What are some examples you can tease out that you do to maybe help people? So maybe some of the workshops or camps that you do.
Absolutely. I do. Right now, the boot camps have turned into challenges because there's just so much to it, so much content. For a weekend boot camp is not enough.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm opening up a 5-day challenge. And this one in particular is all about not just the story, but to create your dream life. You have to understand you're capable of a lot of things.
Mm-hmm.
So stop limiting yourself, right? But it's not you that's limiting yourself. You're thinking, okay, what is it? Maybe it's my limiting beliefs, but that's actually imposter syndrome.
Mm-hmm.
So I do an entire 5-day challenge, not just crushing the imposter syndrome, but also learning how to build the life of your dreams, meaning do what you want, when you want, how you want, with whom you want, wherever you want around the world.
Mm-hmm.
Right? I'm from Toronto. Right now I'm in Brazil, and it's all by choice. Mm-hmm. Everything I'm doing is by choice. And that's what makes me happy. There's not a single sad particle in my system right now.
Well, that's important.
Yeah, absolutely. I always say negativity attracts negativity, and positivity attracts positivity. Mm-hmm. So the life you choose is really your choice. If you're upset with something and you choose to continue being upset after 2 seconds, that's your choice. Mm-hmm. Right? It's like if you're in a rock show, right? You can get in front and hope you don't get trampled, and then you get trampled because there's a mosh pit and everything. And or you can stay back and enjoy the show peacefully. It's your choice. To start a business, it's your choice. Happiness is not just a choice. I truly believe that it's something you have to prioritize.
Yeah, most definitely. Is it a matter of perception of what you choose to look at then?
Absolutely. It's not just it's perception, but also a lot of other things, right? You have to understand how life works. You have to understand how you work, right? It's so much easier to say, hey, just be happy. Don't worry, be happy.
Don't worry, be happy.
Yeah. It's so many people talk about that, but not many people show how to do it. They don't say, hey, there's imposter syndrome in your way, right? And that's probably caused from the mental abuse that you struggled with, probably from the time you were 2 years old until recently, if still not struggling with it, right? And it's a huge problem. So now my main goal is to end mental abuse, not just for the survivors out there to help them, but also to end, the actions of mental abuse. So to get people understanding that, hey, saying you suck once might seem easy or might seem not like nothing, but it's actually damaging a person's life, and you don't even know it.
Wow. Yeah, so you talk about trauma. A lot of people experience trauma maybe in childhood or sometime in their life. How does it contribute to their fear, and how do you I mean, give us some tips on maybe ways to overcome it or how you work with people to overcome it?
I will never help people overcome things. I talk about
Oh,
conquering,
okay.
brother. So
We conquer, we do not overcome.
yeah, because that's a lot. We are born to conquerors. We're born to conquer stuff. That's in human nature,
Hmm.
right? But we are taught to overcome. We're taught to scrape the tip of the iceberg and be
Hmm.
happy with it,
Yeah.
right?
I've
So,
overcome a few McRibs in my day. Or
sorry.
conquered a few McRibs. Sorry, I'm still learning the lingo.
Well, there you go. See, you see the difference because when you overcome, again, it'll come back.
Hmm.
But when you conquer it, sure, the fear will be there, but you can go and do it again without worrying about it. Now, here's the thing. As to the question, right? A few tips. All fears lead to these three things. Number one is fear of judgment. The second one is lack of self belief. And the third one is self sabotage. These three things are the root cause of all fears that you can possibly imagine. Fear of the
Hmm.
unknown. People are afraid of the unknown because they don't believe in themselves,
Hmm.
right? Now we have the imposter syndrome, right? You crush the imposter syndrome, but these three things will still be in the way. That's what the
Hmm.
mentorship program's about, right? It's for the serious people that really are tired of letting fear control their life and they want to stay in control, right? You wanted to start a podcast. I'm sure it wasn't easy. You probably think, oh, who would listen to you, right? I mean,
Yeah.
what are some things that you were thinking of before starting it?
The hardest part was I was okay. I've always been a big mouth, and I was cool with doing it. But framing the format, and then of course programming the setup of it was is like, what do we? How do we do this? And what do we do? And what platform to build it on? And yeah, there was like so many things that once it was set up, it was pretty easy. But the setup is the hardest part, I think.
Exactly. So it's like when I was starting to get into the F principle, before that, I was in the entertainment industry. I was a performer, I guess, magician, illusionist,
Hmm.
however you'd like to call it. That really took my life for 16 years. And
Hmm.
I call it that time period. It's actually a Five Finger Death Punch song that I can really relate to.
Huh.
If you know the band, Wrong Side of Heaven, Righteous Side of Hell.
Hmm.
So it's really how you like. It was a whole thing where I had a career. It was successful, but I was unhappy, right?
Hmm.
And you know, in the entertainment industry, because you're from Vegas, you know that people there are brutal. They'll tell
Hmm.
you you suck. They'll tell you you're not good enough. Then you got friends and family saying, "Hey, what are you doing? Get a normal job," right?
Uh-huh.
And that sticks with you. It sticks with you not when you're feeling happy, but when you're feeling down, when you're starting to question, hey, should I start this podcast? Then you're going to get those memories coming at you. Be like, hey, you're not good enough. Hey, only one in a million make it. Right? It's the mental abuse that people go through, and they don't even realize how powerful and how much control that abuse has taken. And
Yeah.
then they say fear is an illusion. They start coming up with that, giving them fake hope, and that's not true. Fear is real.
Yeah. Fear is definitely real.
Like we get celebrities say, no, fear is not real. It is.
Hmm.
It takes full control of how you feel, you
Hmm.
know, and you react out of it.
And it really probably comes down to how you deal with that fear, right? How you decide to process it.
Yeah,
Hmm.
it depends on this, right? What if there's a fear? What are you going to do? Are you going to face it forward and just go rush without any knowledge of what the fear is? You're going to smash your head into the wall. You're going to get a headache, right? That does not work. Overcoming fear, sure. A lot of people know how to do it. That's face everything and rise kind of thing. But that's not because the fear is going to come back and it's going to hit you again and it's going to hit you worse,
Hmm.
right? Or you can conquer it. And there's the three steps that I always talk about. Identify the fear, find the root cause. First of all, you got to know that you're afraid of something, right?
Hmm.
Because if you think you're not afraid, you're not going to look for it, because you got to find the root cause. That's the second step. Admit the fear, find the root cause, and then conquer it accordingly. Because it depends, right? People say, oh, I'm afraid of flying. And I hear that so often. I'm like, sorry, brother, you're not. Or sorry, sister, you're not afraid of flying. What is it that you're really afraid of? They're like, well, I'm afraid of flying, being up high. So is it heights or flying? Right? So then we dissect it. You have to dissect what the fear is. And most of the time, it's fear of the unknown or fear of not living enough, which is also the fear of dying.
Yeah. A lot of people fear that too. A lot of people have a terrifying fear of dying.
Yeah. And the reason is because they haven't lived long enough.
Is it because you haven't lived long enough, or because maybe...
Well, you haven't fulfilled your life.
Ah.
That's what I meant to say, right? If you, like, when I say live long enough, it's like living your dream life.
Mm-hmm.
Right? People out there wanting to make millions of dollars, but what are they doing to get it?
You know, it's interesting to me. I mean, there's a lot of stuff that I'd like to do in life, and certainly I don't want to pass away earlier, but I remember my father, he went through a really hard time with the end of his life, and he really wanted to stay alive. And I really felt like my father didn't do a lot in life. I mean, he had things to live for, I guess, but you know, he really, he lived his life in a religious cult. And so for the most part, he didn't enjoy anything in life, the beauty, the art, you know, a lot of the stuff that a lot of us see and enjoy in life and do that aren't, you know, sitting around going, well, everything's evil. You know,
Yeah.
that sort of thing. And so my life's very different where I've lived it, and I'm pretty happy. You know, I could have lived a probably better life in a few different ways or something like that, or maybe I could have done better here, but you know, we all go through that and say that. But you know, honestly, if you shot me now and put me down, yeah, that would suck. But I'd be pretty happy with the run I had. I had a good run. I had fun, and you know, whatever. And so I don't live with the fear of, oh God, what if I die tomorrow? What haven't I accomplished? Is that a real thing for people, I guess?
People fear a lot of things.
Yeah.
That's the thing is that they think they're afraid of that, but it's the root cause that's causing it, everything, right? So for example, the fear of dying would probably make you be afraid of snakes and spiders, because we're taught that a lot of snakes and spiders are poisonous.
I'm still afraid of them, but I don't fear dying. I'm afraid of my foot swelling up like I see some of my friends.
Well, is that afraid, or is that something else?
It's just something I concern.
You just don't want it.
Just like don't want it.
Exactly.
I don't live in fear of like, are there spiders right now crawling on my leg?
Exactly. And there are people that are.
Oh,
right?
really?
Oh, yeah. My wife and I, we traveled to Tanzania last year. And let me tell you, I don't like spiders. When I was 6 years old, I woke up with my face full of spider web and a spider this big on my face. 6 years old.
Really?
Oh my goodness, it was the worst.
Note to self: never go to Latvia.
No, that wasn't in Latvia. That was actually in Canada.
Oh, never go to Canada then.
So we're in Tanzania, and all of a sudden I'm getting water, right? It's a big pack of water. I'm bringing it home. I open it up, and inside was a monstrous spider. I'm not even exaggerating. It was like this big.
Wow.
And it jumped out. It's super speed. And I'm like, okay, it's probably going to spit at me if I attack it. So it's freaky, right? But at the same time, just because people know that, they're not going to go to Tanzania. And the beauty there is in Tanzania is just amazing.
Yeah.
I would never, like, when we were in Dar es Salaam, we were right at the beach. There's a beach house, and there were just like wild monkeys, like a whole horde of monkeys. And
hanging out.
Yeah, and it was just so beautiful. Of course, there's a python hole close to us, but there's still the monkeys. You got to look at the positive things, right?
Sure, yeah.
What am I gonna, like, that python hole? I don't know how fresh it is. I don't know if the python's even there. I don't know that. Why should I start creating imaginary things and get scared?
Yeah.
Now,
let's talk about your book. You wrote the book, Conquering Criticism, Pains and Actionable Steps to Conquer the fear of judgment. Tell us a little bit about that. You put that out in June 15, 2021 of this year. Tell us a little bit about that book.
Absolutely. So fear of judgment is something that crippled me for most of my life, and it's crippled a lot of people. And I noticed that, yes, I do have a course that teaches how to conquer fear of judgment as well. But this book is specifically to help you, guide you with actionable steps of how to, like, what do you do? Someone judges you. What do you do?
Punch them in the face? No, I'm just.
You could. That's one thing that you could do. Someone says, "Hey, Chris, you're not attractive," and you can just be like, "Screw
That's
you,"
a punch
and
in the face.
Yeah, right. But some people, or you can be like, "Okay, and like, do you have any meaning in my life whatsoever? Why would I care what you think?"
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? So there's different ways to do that. And that book is something that I needed to write it down. It was right after I proposed. I started writing it down because I was scared, right? I mean, proposing was one of the scariest things ever. Getting it down, then, hey, can you be my wife? Kind of thing, it was terrifying. There's so many things. I start coming up with all these things like, okay, she may say no, fly away. People are going to be like, haha, Emanuel, you got ditched. All of those thoughts in the process of 2 seconds. It's a lot. It's not like a lot of things happen and keep on happening. It's when there's hundreds of different thoughts going into 2 seconds. That's when it hits the hardest. So that book is definitely something that I've written, and I'll strongly encourage people to get it, because if they're struggling with judgment in particular, they will have the actionable steps that not just helped me, but they've helped thousands of people.
So is it self-judgment, or is it judgment from other people who are judging you?
Now, I talk about both. In that book, I talk about both. Right? Self-judgment, you get thousands of thoughts going through your head. You're probably wondering at once, is the water hot? It doesn't matter. Most thoughts that go in your head don't matter.
That's all of my thoughts. That's all of my thoughts.
Well, I'm sure there's some thoughts that you really that matter to you.
One's about lunch and stuff. What am I going to eat for lunch?
There you go. That's the first thing I ask. In fact, sometimes I ask my wife, "What are we having for dinner tomorrow?" Like, I get hungry.
Yeah.
So a lot of the times, your thoughts are meaningless. Most thoughts are meaningless, and the judgment of others, there's just opinions that have nothing to do with you. Right? And I talk about, hey, what are you going to do when someone judges you? Are you going to take it to heart, or are you going to question, who's this person? Does this person know anything that I'm going through? Right? Oh, if a person comes and badgers me online saying, "Oh, you lost your hair," I'm like, I could take it to heart because I did, right? But at the same time, they don't know my story.
Yeah, they don't know you.
Don't exactly. They've never probably met me. They're just trying to cause some shit. Sorry for the language.
No, that's fine.
So they're just trying to stir some stuff up, and it's how you deal with it. What are you going to do?
Plus, they're projecting some sort of insecurity or self-hate that they have onto you.
Exactly.
I'm on YouTube a lot, so I'm used to this.
Okay. So there you go.
I get that in comments all the time.
Well, from the entertainment industry, I learned a lot from that, But I'll tell you a story, actually, something that really touched my heart. And it was this Jewish guy in the concentration camp during the World War II. He was so happy. He was the happiest guy there. One guy asked him, "Hey, why are you so happy? You are literally about to die. You don't know what's going to happen. You don't know if you're going to eat. You don't know if you're going to see your family tomorrow." And he said, his response was, "I'm happy because I know I'm going to live. I know that because I can see myself living a future outside of this camp. I went on surviving."
Yeah, I had heard from different. I think there's some studies that were done that the people that gave up in the camps, and I can't blame them. It was a horrible experience.
Yeah.
Ghastly, just subhuman. But the ones who gave up were more readily and easily went to the gas chambers, and the people who fought, who said, "I'm not going down." I'm sure there's some of them that ended up there, but many of them would find ways to either escape or evade or or do something to get out of the thing, and that seemed to be a little bit of a separator.
Yeah, I mean, yes and no, right?
Yeah.
We can't really talk history. I mean, I come
Sure.
from a Jewish family, right? So my
Mhm.
grandma was there. She saw her own family member get shot in front of her.
Wow.
This stuff's tough,
Yeah.
right? No matter, but it's hard. The thing is, it's very difficult to stay positive when you see that stuff.
Yeah.
When you experience it, and that's why a lot of people make the mistake of learning from others. Look inside yourself and find answers.
Mhm.
I'm sorry, if I'm sad and I look inside myself, I'm only going to find sadness.
Yeah.
And I think that goes for everyone. They can't
Yeah.
find happiness if they're sad. They have to look at themselves in the mirror
Mhm.
from a third person perspective and dissect themselves.
Mhm.
Right? So it's very difficult.
Very
So,
much so.
yeah, you got to understand, like, what people tell you. You got to ask yourself: are they specialists? Are they experts in the field? Many people out there go, look something up. They see something on YouTube or something on Facebook. They spread the news, like Face Everything and Rise. That really, like, I'm not a fan of that at all. Those acronyms.
Mhm.
Fear has only one meaning, and that's all it is. It doesn't mean Face Everything and Rise or false evidence appearing real.
Mhm. What are some other things that we can tease out about your book and what goes on with it?
Well, the book itself is a short read, so that I
Mhm.
made it very, very specific to the point where there's no fluff. I don't want to put any fluff in there. I don't want to put any extra stuff. I know a lot of books share a lot of stories and try to relate. No, I'm giving hard facts, actionable steps. That's all it is. You take action. That book itself has some exercises with it, has some short stories. One of my favorite ones that I've written myself, it's of a bird and two birds, actually.
Mhm.
And it's of a bird looks at the mother flying, feeding him, decides to go, hey, I want to go fly. He tries, flaps his wings, he falls. The other bird looks and laughs. Haha, what are you doing? You have to be an adult to fly. You're not strong enough, sucker. Watch me. One day I'm going to fly. He goes again, flips his wings, falls. Mom, get me up there. So the mom gets him up, and then he's like, look, you're a little bird, but you're not going to fly right now. Just chill out. Wait for your time. And the little bird turned around, and he mentioned, and again, like, I think I changed it up a bit to make it suitable for kids. But the original, so people watching this podcast right now get to hear the original ending. He says, you may be a little sparrow, but I'm a fucking eagle. And he goes up and flies.
Good
Right,
for
so-
him. He's not putting up with any crap.
Yeah,
He's
exactly.
He's not getting bought into the program.
Exactly. So that's the whole thing. Like, don't be afraid of judgment. In fact, welcome it. I welcome all judgment because
Mhm.
it doesn't affect me, and it gets things out of people's chests, so they say their piece, right?
Mhm.
And I say, I love me, but do you love you?
That's true. That's
Do
true.
you love yourself,
Mhm.
brother? If you're judging so hard right now, do you even love yourself?
Mhm.
You know, and
That's usually why they're projecting the judging hard, is because they have a self-hate or some sort of insecurity about where they're
yeah,
at in life.
it's just other people's opinions thrown onto you. It has nothing to do with you. It has something. It's, for example, do you know anyone that has never started a podcast, like a friend or family or someone?
Yeah, a lot of people.
They probably would say, "Hey, starting a podcast is impossible,"
Some
because
people
they've
do,
never
yeah.
done it. Yeah,
Yeah.
they've never done it. That's why they think that way.
Mhm.
You don't have what it takes to start a podcast. You're not Joe Rogan, right? But that thing would start. But then again, they've never started the podcast, meaning that opinion is invalid. That just invalidates most opinions. Most judgments are invalidated opinions that have nothing to do with you. And the sooner you understand that, the sooner you can raise your wings and become an eagle.
There you go. Become an eagle, people. Do it. What else do we want to touch on, or you want to tease out, Emanuel, on what you do and how you do it?
Well, there's one of the things that the 4 keys of conquering fear blueprint is something that I really put my heart and soul into it.
And this is, of
And
course, you do.
Yeah, it's a course out there.
Mhm.
It's available right now on the website, www.thefprinciple.com.
Mhm.
Now, that course is the blueprint of how to conquer fears. It's not like one of those courses where you go on, it's 3 minutes per video and 45 minutes of storytelling. It's
Mhm.
not like that at all. It's full out. How do you conquer? How do you start from being afraid to gaining courage? Right?
Mhm.
I do an entire mentorship program on that as well. But that course in particular has helped thousands of people.
Wow.
Thousands. It's something that helps. Once you crush the imposter syndrome, that's the best step for you. Because
That's
yes,
awesome.
it takes you, it builds up a fearless mindset exercise.
Mhm.
You start exercising, you get like a lifestyle, a fearless lifestyle. Of
Mhm.
course, you're not going to be fearless, right? There's only two types of fearless people out there. Fearless being number one. Do you want to take a guess who they are?
Give it to me.
All right. Number one, liars. And number
Ah.
two, psychopaths. Those are the only two types of people that are fearless. Psychopaths don't feel anything, and liars are, well, they're afraid, but they'll never admit to it.
Yeah.
So, but the fearless mindset allows you to appear fearless. It's an exercise. It takes 15 minutes per day. You turn that into a lifestyle, and your life changes. Like the way you see things. It's like, have you seen the movie Limitless with Bradley Cooper?
I have not.
You have not. So essentially, he takes a pill. All of a
Mhm.
sudden, he starts seeing everything clearly, clear as day, and
Mhm.
he allows. It's an interesting movie. It's plays around with the nootropics of getting your brain to function better.
Mhm.
So that's essentially what this does. It opens up your eyes to see
Oh,
things
wow.
so much brighter, right?
Wow.
It's like imagine walking your day and everything you see is all shady. Everything's dark, weather's gloomy, the lights are dimmed, the people are sad looking, but then you realize, hey, you just forgot to take off your sunglasses. And then when you take off your sunglasses, everything's amazing. That's what the feeling.
What's that old adage? What you focus on is what you see or what you get.
Yeah, it's essentially creating your reality,
Mhm.
right? You create the reality. Like if you close everything from your sides, you won't see anything out there,
Yeah.
right?
I think it was Anthony Robbins. He talks about it a little bit. He says, two people can go to a party. One people can see how much fun it was, and the other people can see how many people were boring and it was an awful party. Come away with
Exactly.
two different perceptions based upon what they chose to focus on.
Exactly. So you have to create your reality. So
Mhm.
the fearless mindset exercise allows you to attract more positivity into your life. So you're going to end up being the person that goes and loves the party, because even if it's the most boring party, you're going to have a blast because you know exactly who you're looking for, the kind of people you want to be around, and so forth, right?
Plus,
So
for me, if I just make it fun, if it's boring, I just entertain. So
of
that's how
course,
I roll.
there you go.
I'm just like, screw it. This is boring. I'm going to make it fun.
There you go. That's the way. That's one way to do it as well,
That's how I
right?
roll.
You can become the party,
I
right?
become the party.
Yeah,
One must
or you can
become
sit in the corner and grouch like
this party
this party
sucks.
sucks. Exactly.
Yeah.
Right? So there's the fearless mindset exercise. Then you're going to get into understanding, like a very in-depth, full out, all of it, by the way, is the whole blueprint, the 4 Keys to Conquering Fears blueprint, is over 7 hours long in video.
Mm. Wow. Holy
So
crap.
like I said, my heart and soul is into it. So
That's
you're going
nice.
to conquer the fear of judgment, understand that more, right?
Mhm.
On top of that, you're going to learn how to stop self-sabotaging, stop down-talking yourself, stop and learn how to start saying no to the wrong people, right? It's all about the crowd. Who do you hang out with, right? If
Yeah.
you're going to go to a party and it's boring, well, say no to it.
Mhm.
Leave if you want, or become the party, right? And
Yeah.
then you're going to learn ultimately, you're going to just build what I call an impenetrable self-belief system. You're going to be so confident that people are like the wrong people in your life are going to be like, whoa, dude, chill out. You're too much for me. and then you're going to be like, sayonara, hasta la vista, au revoir, whatever you want to say.
There you go. You got to weed them out.
Yeah.
So this has been pretty insightful. Anything more you want to touch on, Emanuel, before we go out?
I'm good with a lot of things. I mean, there's a lot of things to talk about, you know?
Well, we want to tease it out to people.
Yeah.
So
So, like I said, that right there in itself is the best course out there, and teaching exactly how to conquer fears. I'm
And
not
how-
no fluff.
And how can people get your courses, get to know you better, and all that good stuff?
Yeah, so it's thefprinciple.com. That's the best way to get in touch. There's the website. There's a contact form if you want to get in chat. Hey, what is it that you're afraid of? Do you need a course, or should you go for the mentorship program, or how can we work? Contact me. There's a contact form. Fill it out. We'll get the chat. I'll see what's up with what's going on, and within the 15 minutes, I'll tell you your exact problem, right? Because I've been doing it for so long. I have over thousands of students in 82 different countries.
Wow, that's huge, man. It's freaking huge.
You just got to go. I'm not stopping. My goal is to help 7 billion mental abuse survivors to crush imposter syndrome and start living their dream life.
There you go.
The dream life is like everyone is, no matter how old you are. Right. One of my students was 72 years old, and she just recreated her dream life.
Wow.
72 years old.
There's hope for
She's
me.
living the dream right now that she's been dreaming since she was 20.
That's awesome, man. That is awesome.
That's what everyone should be. People should look at the statistics, right, Chris? Look, most Americans are not happy. In fact, over the past 50 years, today, Americans are the most unhappiest they've been in the past 50 years.
Yeah.
It's crazy. It's fear. It's imposter syndrome. And it's because they're not living their dream life. They're not in control.
Yeah, it's so important people get their stuff straight. So give us your plug one more time so people can look you up on the internet.
Yep. On Instagram is @thefprinciple. All the links are there. The best way to get in touch with me, again, either send me a message on Instagram, follow me on Clubhouse as well @thefprinciple, and also on the website, www.thefprinciple.com.
There you go. Well, Emanuel, it's been wonderful having you on the show. Thanks for coming on and enlightening us with your stuff.
Thank you so much for having me, man. I really appreciate it.
It's wonderful to have you. And check out his book as well as his website, Conquering Criticism, Pains and Actionable Steps to Help Conquer let me grab this here, the fear of judgment.
Yeah.
And you can get a bonus worksheet, checklist, and short story that's included with that. So you can take advantage of that. You can find that on Amazon or probably wherever fine books are sold. So thanks for coming on. Thanks to my audience for tuning in. Be sure to go to goodreads.com/Chris Voss. See everything we're reading and reviewing over there. Or youtube.com/Chris Voss. See everything we're doing there. Go to all of our groups on Facebook, LinkedIn, Twitter, Instagram, YouTube, etc. Thanks for tuning in. We'll see you guys next time.